Now we're moving to section 5.4, where we're going to look at the stomata and the guard cells and transpiration and talk about what role those stomata play in photosynthesis and water loss. What are stomata? These are openings in the lower epidermis of the leaf, and they allow for entrance and exit of gases. You got to have carbon dioxide going in, because remember that's one of the reactants of photosynthesis, and then the oxygen has to exit because that's one of the products. The guard cells that are around those openings help to regulate the opening and closing of the stomata. Transpiration is when water moves through the stomata. If they're open, like you see in figure A over there on the right, the stomata will allow plenty of carbon dioxide to move, oxygen can move in and out, and then of course water can move out. If they are closed, like you see in figure B on the bottom, then that's going to conserve water, but it also limits photosynthesis. Now, higher temperatures like we have here in the south in the summertime lower the rate of photosynthesis because the stomata will close to conserve water. And a side effect of that is carbon dioxide can't get in, so photosynthesis is not going to happen as readily. That's just a review of the learning objectives about photosynthesis and about the stomata and the role they play. A couple of questions. Which molecule is produced during the light reaction of photosynthesis? The light reaction is the one where the chlorophyll gets excited, it ejects the electrons, they get picked up by the NADP and make NADPH, and the water gets split, and what's released? Correct, oxygen. Which molecule is the final product of the Calvin cycle? We said it has to turn 6 times to make this, and that would be glucose, letter A. Another question, which structures in land plants allow carbon dioxide to enter and oxygen gas to be released? And that would be the stomata. Now I'm going to caution you about something here. The stomata, that's singular for one of the openings. If you see it as plural, it will be stoma, S-T-O-M-A. Now look how close that is to A, stroma. Stroma is the space around the thylakoids within the two membranes. Stomata or stoma are the openings on the underside of the leaves that allow the oxygen and carbon dioxide and water to move through. And this question, we've not really talked about it, it's in your reading. What type of plants open their stomata only at night? First of all, let's talk about where you find these plants. Why would they only open them at night? Well, it could be because it's so hot in the daytime. So they open them at night when the temperature goes down. You're going to find these in the desert, and they're called CAM, C-A-M. They open them at night, and that's when photosynthesis, they get the carbon dioxide to start the whole process. Now I'm going to show you this video. I do suggest that you watch it and listen to it, because it explains everything very clearly.
The ultimate source of energy for most life on Earth is the sun. Plants use the process of photosynthesis to capture the sun's energy and put it to work. Cells derive the energy for life by respiration, using compounds that were originally created by photosynthesis. Cellular respiration and photosynthesis are complementary processes. In photosynthesis, plants use carbon dioxide, water, and light energy to produce sugar and other complex molecules. Oxygen is released as a byproduct. The complementary process of cellular respiration converts oxygen and sugar into carbon dioxide and water. In the process, some energy is released to make ATP, and the rest is lost as heat. Photosynthesis can be broken down into two sets of reactions, light-dependent and light-independent, both of which take place in the chloroplast. The light-dependent reactions transform the energy in sunlight to chemical energy in the form of electrons with high potential energy. These reactions result in the production of oxygen from water. The light-independent reactions use ATP and NADPH to reduce carbon dioxide from the atmosphere to sugar through a set of reactions called the Calvin cycle. The carbohydrates produced by the Calvin cycle are used in cellular respiration to make ATP for the cell. The light-dependent reactions of photosynthesis occur within the thylakoid membranes inside the chloroplast. The thylakoid membranes contain an array of proteins, as well as chlorophyll and other pigments. This complex, called a photosystem, absorbs light and initiates the reactions of photosynthesis. Light-dependent reactions have two photosystems. In photosystem 1, excited electrons are used to produce NADPH. In photosystem 2, they're used to produce ATP. A photosystem absorbs photons of light, which bump electrons from chlorophyll molecules to electron acceptors within the photosystems. The chlorophyll molecules are left oxidized. The electrons that feed photosystem 2 come from the splitting of water, which results in the production of protons, H+, as well as the liberation of oxygen. After arriving at the primary electron acceptor in photosystem 2, the electrons fall back down the energy hill as they're transferred through a series of electron transport molecules, each one oxidizing its predecessor. At the bottom of this hill, they arrive at photosystem 1. A primary function of the fall of electrons between photosystems 2 and 1 is a release of energy that's used for the production of ATP. Photosystem 1 also absorbs photons, which boost electrons from chlorophyll molecules to an electron acceptor within the photosystem. The energized electrons are transferred to an enzyme that passes 2 electrons and a proton to a molecule of NADP+. This reaction produces NADPH, an electron carrier that donates its energy to the light-independent reactions of photosynthesis. The result of these light-dependent reactions is the production of NADPH, a proton gradient that fuels ATP production, and the release of oxygen gas into the environment. The light-dependent reactions occur in the thylakoid membranes and require light to produce NADPH and ATP. These molecules fuel the next series of reactions, which occur in the stroma. The light-independent reactions, also known as the Calvin cycle, can occur with or without light. The Calvin cycle is a set of reactions in which energetic electrons are brought together with carbon dioxide and a sugar to produce an energetic carbohydrate. In summary, these reactions break down into 4 sets of steps. 1. Carbon fixation. 2. Energizing the sugar. 3. Exit of product. And 4. Regeneration of RUBP. In the fixation phase, carbon dioxide from the atmosphere combines with a 5-carbon molecule called ribulose bisphosphate, or RUBP. This process, in which carbon dioxide is made usable to life by incorporating it into an organic molecule, is called